The Holy Gospel according to Luke. Glory to you, O Lord. Someone in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me." But Jesus said to him, "Friend, who set me to be a judge or arbitrator over you?" And Jesus said to them, "Take care. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. For one's life does not consist in the abundance of possessions." Then Jesus told them a parable. The land of a rich man produced abundantly, and he thought to himself, "What should I do? For I have no place to store my crops." Then he said, "I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build larger ones. And there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, 'Soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, and be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this very night your life is being demanded of you. And the things you have prepared, whose will they be? So it is for those who store up treasures for themselves, but are not rich toward God." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. Warning. Warning. There's a warning in today's Gospel. Don't store up treasures for yourselves. You may lose it all. Instead, be rich toward God. If only it were that simple. Our presidents and others, and perhaps us, use economics alone, as a way to gauge the quality of our lives. And if the jobs report isn't flattering, fire the person who delivered it. A recent report states that 40% of Americans aren't saving enough for retirement. And we've heard the warnings about the vulnerability of our country's social safety net and the likelihood that the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out in the next decade. If you've ever worked with a financial planner, you know that you need to enter all your assets into an online form that will eventually give you your net worth. The thing is, it's too easy to define our self-worth as our net worth. Now, if we have investments, and if the stock market cooperates, we may have some confidence that our future will be okay. Like the rich man in today's gospel, for many of us, the bottom line is our personal assets, our net worth, our wealth. Not the common good. There's often little concern for the strangers at our doors, the livelihood of immigrants, the ones who do menial yet crucial work in our country. Little regard for those starving in Gaza, the plight of the poor, and growing wealth inequity. Even if I have a healthy net worth, I know that life doesn't always work out the way I may expect. All it takes is an unexpected illness, or a sudden death, or a job loss, or a tragedy, or a global crisis, or a deep depression, and it changes everything. And we wonder if life is worth it. Whether it's our finances or our abundant possessions or the meaning of life, we are always dealing with stuff. And as a friend of mine likes to say, it's always something. The so-called teacher in Ecclesiastes is dealing with the existential stuff. What's it all for, he asks. It's vanity, all the business of life. You toil, you work your butt off, you have plenty, but you want more. And then you leave it for someone else to enjoy after you're gone. What do we gain for all this toil? And what an answer. All our days are full of pain. Our work is vexation. Even at night, our minds do not rest. Does life ever feel that way to you? Vanity, chasing the wind, futile? Today's political, economic, and ecological context can seem hopeless, overwhelming. Ecclesiastes is considered the most pessimistic book in the Bible. But I'm glad we have a book like that doesn't sugarcoat things and deals with this aspect of being human. So today, the question for all of us is, what is of worth? What is of true value to you? Not only does our society hold up our net worth, but all around us, online, everywhere, we get messages that tell us not only what we truly need, but what we should want. Maybe you've been a parent in this next scenario. You're shopping with your kid for an iPhone. Your very young teenager says they want the latest iPhone and no other model. No other model will do. You say something like, but we can't afford that now. Or you're going to have to wait till you're 16. But Dad, is the response, everyone has this phone. Now, I don't know what my response would be or what your response would be, but the dad in the story I read said, that's it, we're leaving. And you can imagine the silence at the dinner table that night. I wonder, in light of what we're talking about today, why does Jesus call the prosperous man in the gospel a fool? It doesn't say that he was greedy. He simply needs more barns for his bumper crops. The economy's been good to him. Is there anything wrong with that? But maybe the 11 pronouns give a clue. Listen for the trinity of me, myself, I in his soliloquy. What should I do? For I have no place to store my crops. I will do this. I will pull down my barns, build larger ones, and there I will store all my grains, my goods. I will say to my soul, soul, you've saved for the future, relax, eat, drink, and be merry. But we know that life can be cut short at any time. No surprise that a country music station isn't in my car as an automatic button to push, but one country music song says, you don't bring nothing with you here, and you can't take nothing back. I ain't never seen a hearse with a luggage rack. Now, one article goes deeper than mere external economics, and that's usually the way we think, right? External economics. The author suggests we have an inner self-regulation problem. Our control and restraint settings are off. After decades of extreme affluence, a growing sense of entitlement, and instant gratification, our self-regulatory systems have come together, all of us, unwired. We've been living in an orgy of self-indulgence, states the author of a book called American Mania. when more is not enough. Our sense of true worth, to me, seems out of whack. For me, for all of us. We can be filled and stuffed. It can be insatiable. We have endless content online, scrolling that never ends. We have more than we could ever dream of at our fingertips. And yet we're so empty. Maybe that void is the beginning of our healing. To know our hunger and our deep spiritual need. We come to this place this summer morning to learn the ways of Jesus, who in his living and in his dying was rich toward God. In baptism, we have died with Christ, and our inheritance is the abundant life that he gives. At the end of life, what matters most is not our net worth, but lives marked by gratitude, by generosity, or as one writer adds, at death, who I was in the ultimate depths of my heart, a heart that was either full of love or full of spite and hidden selfishness. So come, gather again at this abundant table. Learn little by little, Sunday by Sunday, year by year, what is of true value, of true worth. Leave your stuff behind. Leave your worries behind. Leave your striving behind. Leave your obsession about the future behind. None of our stuff matters. Here, in this place, we gather around the treasures of word and sacrament, water, bread, and wine. Here we gather around the treasure of being together in community. Here we receive and remember that the gifts that the poor and the needy give to us reveal our spiritual emptiness. I actually don't know. I don't know what it means to be rich toward God. But together we will be lifelong learners. Together we will discover what is enough. Together we will discover what it means to be generous. And together we will discover what is truly worth it. Amen.